shit.
That's what I'm talking about.
Wait.
Okay, now, from the beginning.
Welcome to the Muscle, Mind, and Money Podcast. I am one of your hosts. My name is Dominic.
And this is Nastasia. Now on to the show.
It's time to get started.
All right, everybody.
Welcome back into the podcast. Today's episode is just the lovely Nastasia and Dominic. We've been having quite a few guests on our recent podcasts, and they've been a huge hit.
But we were like, let's have a little water-cooler chat today, just you and I.
Listen to you with your office talk, water-cooler chat. No, it was getting ready in the bathroom chat this morning in the shower.
Okay, fair enough.
And I do want to do just a public thank you to Jake Hall. Jake Hall's a former colleague of ours. He's been doing the video edits. We love being on video. We're recording this one on video again for our YouTube channel, and he's been doing a tremendous job. He's been looking for side hustle work since he's paused in the sense of what's been going on with the coronavirus, and he's just been crushing it every day. So Jake, if you're listening, well, you will be. You'll eventually edit this.
You have to watch it.
Big thank you. Big, awesome. And we couldn't do it without you. Appreciate it. But on today's episode, we had a really cool discussion earlier today, and we defined it as 3 C's. I don't know if it technically is or not, because we're just nerds like that. We like to pair things in A's and B's and C's. But we talked about courage. We talked confidence. And then we were talking about conviction.
Yeah.
And the differences.
Yeah. And the differences, and then how they all kind of flow into each other.
In different stages.
Yeah.
Because I think, well, I know I mix them up. What's courage? What's confidence? What's certainty or conviction? Like, there's different mindsets. Mm-hmm. You recently were on another podcast discussing portions of this.
Yeah, it was kind of by accident. Logan and I had a chat via YouTube, and Logan asked me to talk about the story of us leaving our jobs in America, moving to Canada on work visas. And as we got into the conversation, we really talked about, hey, how did you start and take a leap, which would be courage? How did you find the confidence to keep going? And then what kept you convicted to make it through the times that were a little uncertain or more difficult? And so that's how we kind of coined and paired those words to bring to you today.
Yeah, and combining courage and confidence, then how does that go into conviction? It's defining of what people do at certain times.
Yeah.
You were bringing up to me, and I loved it. You were like, look, anyone can really potentially have courage. All of us have stories of courage. We have courage of when we take an action in regards to when we don't feel any kind of certainty with it. We're super uncomfortable. You coined it.
Yeah. So like courage is a skill. It's not you're born with it or you're not. You can certainly develop it, but it's just doing something that's scary to you. And it doesn't mean like eliminating the fear. It means that you had the courage to take it on even though you were scared to do it. And for me, taking that leap is not very easy internally. Like I'm super calculated. I err towards the side of caution. I find a lot of comfort in a paycheck every 2 weeks, even if it's something that's a little bit calculated or predictable, where you're a little bit more on, it's super easy for you to take a leap, right?
On starting things.
Yeah.
So when it comes to courage of just, look, it's uncomfortable, I go do it.
Yeah.
And that could be different mindsets of, could be stupid enough to just like, okay, I'll just go try anything. You're more calculated and think through the risk and rewards.
Yeah.
But courage is you can start with courage. When do people have courage? They have courage when, well, you had courage. You asked me out on a date. Courage. But you hear about liquid courage when people are at a bar, they get a few beers in them, and then they can go do anything. It takes down the resistance of fear. But that's just taking action. So courage could be, I'm going to take an action on something that's uncomfortable.
Yes, but I want to make a point here. For you, it's easy for you to take that action. And I feel like you're like, well, isn't it easy for everybody? But it's not easy for everybody to take that leap and take that action. And so for me, the courage comes a lot from my external forces and external like cheerleaders. And so
your support, your network.
Yeah. So I remember back when I was making a career change to leave my sales job at Hilton, which I got a 4-year degree in marketing and I'm working for this super successful hotel chain and I'm doing really well, but I wasn't really passionate about it and it wasn't fueling a great purpose. It's actually when I had met you and you were working in the fitness industry and I was like, oh my God, that would be a job I would love to do. But like, how do I even make this change? Like, how do I pivot? This is crazy. I'm going to go into a career where I don't have a degree. I have no idea how much money I'm going to make. Because as a trainer, I remember you telling me, you're like, you need to have at least 3 months of savings because you probably won't make money for your first 3 months. And I was like,
I said that?
Yes. And I was like shitting my pants because like I was paying my own rent. My dad, when I finished college, was
paying
like,
my own rent.
Yeah,
What a big person.
I was an adult. My dad was like, I don't have your back financially. Like, you want to go make the change, you figure it out. But I had really good cheerleaders in my corner. And that was in the form of you and in the form of my mom and dad. And it was these people that were like, no, we do believe it's a good decision. We do think you can do it. And I knew deep down inside I wanted to and I could, but I need that like little push. Like that, I get like 98% there. I need you to be my 2% to just push me over the ledge to take the leap. And so I think it's important in your life that you have good influences around you that if you're like me, that can help you get to that last 2% because they know it's the right thing and they're cheering for you and they can see it, but you just kind of need that push, that external push. At the same time, you got to be careful that your cheerleaders aren't just feeding you full of shit and not critically giving you good advice. So I just want to say for me, I think it's been huge in my life to have positive influences around me that I totally trust, that really encourage me to do something that scares me, but in a smart way and in a calculated way to get me to be able to take that leap. Where like you just leap. I like wish I was you, but I'm not.
So the way that I process I actually am I'm thinking through your courage. The way you're defining it is more as confidence, as just, hey, because you're thinking through after what you do when you start. There was a book written by John Fitzgerald Kennedy, one of the U.S. presidents, that was killed. He wrote a book called Profiles in Courage, and especially in the political field and military. It was talking about courage of taking a stand or doing something super uncomfortable when no one else would do it, pioneering things. Martin Luther King, just courage to start. And then, but the difference of then is I think many of us have courage or can build it up to your point of support networks, or I take a drug and can get courage. Like you can it basically just takes down your barrier of fear to go.
Yes.
And external resources can help pump you up to do that.
Yeah.
But it quickly blends into confidence so quickly.
Totally.
Like it's like the second after you take the leap of courage,
yes,
your confidence kicks in.
Totally agree.
Because so many people start and stop things all the time.
Yes.
So to your example, well, you just go, well, yeah, because I guess my confidence is more, I don't know that I stick with everything that I start. I remember courage of this. I'm a little kid. I'm at the Lincoln Park pool and where I grew up. It was the Moyer pool is what it was named. And I went up to the high dive. I couldn't swim. I was in swimming lessons at the time. And I'm this roly-poly little fat, chubby little Italian kid with a belly and go running up to the top. And I cannonball it because I saw the older kids doing it off the deep end. But I just went and did it.
Right.
Blindly did it. There wasn't this barrier of what if this doesn't work. My brain didn't work that way. It didn't go that far forward
ahead.
Of what's going to happen. When I hit the water, I had the biggest red mark all over my body because I had belly flopped from the high dive into it, and I was hurt. I mean, the lifeguard jumped in, they got me out. So you want to talk about courage? Yeah, I remember just do it. Just, no guts, no glory, just go for it. But it actually... it really shook my confidence, and I actually never learned to swim.
Oh, do you think it was because of that?
I guarantee it.
This is the first time I'm ever hearing this story.
I stopped swimming lessons after that, so I've never ever been comfortable in the water since.
Okay.
But so you want to talk about blind courage?
Yeah.
Is the destroyed confidence. So courage, I would coin it in the Genova terms of Dominic's at least, of like it's just an ability to start.
To go. Yeah.
But confidence is the fuel.
Yes. And I think a big part of courage is just getting comfortable being uncomfortable, because the more times we push through that fear and just go for it, it becomes easier, right? To your point where you're like, I'll just go to the top and take the jump and take the leap, like, because you probably had done things like that in your gut feeling prior. And so the more you do it, I think the easier it gets. And the more then confidence you build around being comfortable, being uncomfortable to just take that first jump. So now once we've jumped off the high board into the water.
Hey, I know you're smiling now because you like really enjoyed this moment of like learning something about me when I was a little fat kid. But let's get into confidence.
Okay.
Once you start something, so I got courage and I start. Confidence
Totally.
to me is like it's variable. Different degrees of what I've done. If I've never done anything before, my confidence is really low. Mm-hmm. If I've done things a million times over, my confidence is really high.
Yeah, in that thing.
So it's very circumstanced.
Yeah.
But talking about confidence, so you're someone, so let's reverse it. I may start and stop things all the time because probably my confidence kicks in and I'm like, I don't want to do it, so I'm not going to.
Yeah.
And just put it away. Where you'll push through. You may not have wanted to do it, but once you get the courage to do it, it kicks in, you get started. It takes a meteorite crashing on Earth to stop you. Like you're going. So maybe you can flip over to thinking of the confidence kicks in as soon as you break the ice of courage.
Yeah, so the confidence is now your internal. Like this is all, no matter how you try or what you do, your confidence will not come from an external source. It could come from an external source in a moment or in a facade, but the true confidence is going to come from inside. So this is where you really have to do the work to look internal and look at your self-dialogue, look at your trust and ability in yourself. I think with each win, you build your confidence and you become better and better at things to where that self-dialogue more naturally comes in a positive light that you can surpass that success curve. So what I have found in my career, my relationships, it's across a span of life, really. However you want to define success in a marriage, a friendship, a job, like we have this notion that it should just go linear, and it's because we're putting in the work and the time, it's always going up. But in reality of the situation, no matter how, sometimes when you're working the hardest is where you're going to hit your wall or start to dip in your success curve, where you hit an obstacle or something happens to where you have to change and adapt. So to me, the confidence comes from knowing that your success curve might be a little bit squiggly. And when I'm hitting those roadblocks, like I'm able to put myself in winning situations, like physically in winning situations or visually in a winning situation, that I'm able to get myself from point A to point B. And I believe in myself enough that I'm able to do that. And a big part of confidence also comes with the ability to accept rejection and like not take it personal. And so these things to me are all internal skills. And I've built them mostly just through experience and through doing the self-work to get myself to have that confidence.
When's an example of a time that you know your confidence was tested on a journey? Because confidence is long-term. Courage could be short-term. Mm-hmm. Confidence is the fuel that keeps your decision behind your courage to take action going. When was a time that that your confidence was shaken?
That was, I just always go back to this. So I guess that it's one of the most monumental things that's happened because, to be honest, there's been a lot of challenge in my life, but it's been relatively easy to overcome. And the one time was in my career as a district manager where I was performing really poorly, which I feel like we've talked about on another episode where like a bunch of people were quitting.
We talked about it on the Hulk episode around culture.
My financial results were horrible. And I did for a minute like say, oh my God, can I do this? Like, can I do this? Am I this fucked up? But the reason was I had worked for days and weeks and months staying consistent on this plan that I had, which I had a lot of confidence behind the plan that it was going to work. But after so much consistency and it quote unquote wasn't working, then I started to question, like, can I do this? Because like, I don't know what else to do. And the funny thing was, it was like a flip of a switch. I really feel like from one day to the next. And all of a sudden it clicked, and then it just started going in a positive way. So thank God I had the confidence to stick with it. And then this will kind of get us to conviction, I guess.
No, I'm gonna pause you. I think that's where courage kicks back in. Because now your confidence is shaken.
Yeah.
So you have the courage to start. You're going. Your confidence starts to wear low because performance starts to dip, and you're in a perpetual cycle. And that's it. So then other people can coin this, or I've heard this before. Oh, you had the courage to stop. But yet you had to make a choice.
Yeah.
You finally made a choice, and then your courage was like, nope, I'm going to keep going. I'm not going to quit. I'm going to persevere and get through this.
Yeah.
That's another moment when your courage is tested. You chose to re-engage, change behaviors, and then it lifted your confidence. But you said, when I reflect back, it seems like it was like within a 24-hour period, when it might have been a mind shift, because courage is taking action immediately. Yeah. But then you had to keep it, basically you had to reboost your confidence. Yeah. To continue through.
Yeah. And I just want to stress over and over, that has to come from inside. Because even if an external force is telling you, which I had those forces, you can do it. No, you'll be fine. Like, you're doing all the right things. That's nice to hear. But it wasn't until inward I really believed that I was like, okay, well, yeah, I'm not going to fucking quit, because like, I can do it. It's going to come. It's going to work itself out one way or another, because I had that internal like ability to drive myself, not just the external.
It's very difficult to constantly give yourself confidence. Yeah. It's extremely, extremely difficult.
But don't you need to?
You have to be your number one cheerleader personally. But professionally, when I say professionally, of your circle of influence around you, you have to gain and absorb the energy of that confidence that other people tell you, even if it's disbelief, just to think it until you make it to when you can do it. An example being, Nastasia and I have started a new adventure recently. We've started up a confectionery candy business. Confidence in ourselves to do starting a business, extremely high, extremely high, almost stupid high. But in an industry that we don't know anything about, and learning a new skills and trades and business dynamics, and the confidence is there. We're both feeding each other the confidence boosters, but an external source had to come in, a true professional within the professional realm.
Good example.
And absolutely had to taste some of our products and get an award-winning smile of approval or a thumbs down of you need to do better. And we got a thumbs up. Yeah. And at the moment that an external source came in and said, look, this is amazing. Yeah. My confidence went like exploded. Yeah. Because that's a other validation. I think where confidence needs is validation. When you hear the same rhetoric from those around you, constantly giving you confidence, colleagues, your boss,
your parents,
whoever, you need to change the voice and have a third party opinion sometimes, because you're actually not trusting their opinions anymore. You're probably trusting that they love you, that they're just doing it to soothe you. Yeah. And they know that your confidence is on the brink. Yeah. That can happen in business and sales. Let's say I'm trying to sell a product or service to you. You're a stranger. You make the sale with me. My confidence goes up because you're not my colleague or an associate of mine that's constantly giving me pats on the back that I can do it. Totally. So you need those foreign services. Yeah. But I think confidence comes down to, in different stages, when we're trying to learn what to do, confidence will be low. And then our confidence breaks so easily when we know what we can do and we're not having the same success in it. We start to doubt and question ourselves. And then you go back to courage of, do I keep going? Or is this the time to change? Yeah. And then it leads to the third one, which is conviction. That's really the true understanding of your DNA of, are you on the right path with your decisions? Yeah. And this to me is where conviction is like firm belief in yourself, firm belief in what you're doing, and you've made a firm decision. It's belief. You can't see it, touch it, or feel it.
Yeah, but you also decide. Like you choose. I'm going to do this. I'm going to stick with
certainty.
it. Yeah.
Like there's no breaking it.
Totally. So I think that that's something for you and I that we've done really well, which is why we can bet on ourselves, is like when we make the decision, it might take a little bit of time to get there, and it might not be all these pivots all the time. But when we make the decision, we are like fucking all in because we believe in ourselves and each other together. And that firm belief comes from taking leaps multiple times, having multiple sets of courage that end up favorable, building our confidence, surrounding ourselves with the right external forces to be able to come and say, hey, I firmly believe. So I'm going to stick it out. I'm going to put my eggs in that basket and I'm going to make the choice to commit. Like commit. Firmly believe and commit.
There's a lot of C words here. Certainty, commit, convictions, courage.
All right. It's like the not just 3 C's, it's all the C's.
Confidence and certainty, I believe, only happens though, and this is where my mind has changed over the years. Through the more failures or challenges I've had, the learning moments, that's where I've built my confidence.
Amen.
I've never really built my confidence off of, I call it lottery success.
Yeah.
Through circumstances, things have always been easy for something. It's during the times of challenge where people have read books or heard the words grit. It's those perspectives had to change. When things become very easy, you have a ton of courage, you have a ton of confidence when it's behind you. It's when the learning moments of when challenges are upon you and you overcome them.
Yes.
That builds the certainty of your courage, but your certainty of your confidence, because you then can reflect back to the times that you ate the shit sandwich and still made it through. You made it taste like sugar. You flipped it around. But it's the difference of during the times of perseverance, when things are not easy for you, they don't seem to come 1, 2, 3, 4, to Nastasia said, in a linear path. We question if we should do it.
Yeah.
Jump in. You're ready to go.
And a lot of times we quit.
Because our courage, you actually break courage there.
Yeah.
And we tell ourselves a little white lie of, I'm doing this for the right reason. When you, specifically, if you reflect back to the time that you made a mental shift, you almost quit, but you said it seemed like within 24 hours things changed, because right before you quit was actually right before the linear curve was going to spike for you to win.
And if you listen to professional athletes, you listen to us, that's like the equivalent story that you hear all across the board. That like right when I was going to break, or right when it was as bad as it could be or as hard as it could be, it was like on the other side of that wall.
It always is. It's the true test. I believe it's the true test of are you worthy of it? And I think it's a spiritual test. It's a universal test. It's that final test. And I actually get this from playing video games. Well, again, when I was a little fat kid and I couldn't swim. So back to like, I need to go to the swimming pool and learn how to do this. A little life lesson for me. But it's the final test. So if you ever played Mario Brothers, the original one, what was the hardest level? The very final level.
The last
to
one. To
free the princess. It's, are you worthy enough to actually deserve the prize? And when you are, the difference between anyone that wins a video game or wins at anything is their courage and their confidence to persevere. And then once you get through the shit and you get to the shine, your certainty is unbreakable.
That's it.
I don't know. I think we rolled through this pretty well. So lessons from today. Here's leadership lessons, profiles of courage. I joked about it, but yeah, don't be the fat kid slamming on the belly flop on the water pool or in the pool and never learning how to swim. Or you could choose to be like Nastasia and just break through it. And so it's something of, we felt that this kind of podcast of just our little notes and sharing these is perfect for this time, because I think a lot of people are at home thinking a lot right now.
Yeah. So I guess as we wrap up today, have the courage to start, take the leap, continue to build your confidence to like go,
Yep. Every challenge should build it more.
Every challenge builds it more, and the more wins you get, the more your confidence grows. But remember, the wins usually happen on the other side of that wall, which it takes conviction to keep going and to firmly believe in yourself in order to get there. And every learning is sweet, and with every victory comes, I guess, how Dominic framed it up, your worthiness to earn the prize.
Gotta go.
See you later, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.